Good Wednesday morning. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your day halfway through the week as we're gearing up for a holiday weekend. Memorial Day coming up here. And I know that's got a lot of attention because of the rain probabilities that have been showing up. But you know what? We're going to get through that because it's not what you think if you haven't been following along here with me the past couple of days. We're going to reinforce that today because I've got some new guidance that's going to back up more of what we've been talking about here. It's going to be sunny and hot through tomorrow, isolated rain risk tomorrow, but not that big of a deal. Then after that, typical low country summer weather emerges. We're talking heat, humidity, mid 80s to near 90. It's bearable heat and humidity with daily storm risks through Memorial Day in the form of scattered storms. Upper 80s today, though. May have a little patchy fog in a couple of spots this morning, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Should get out of here, mix out pretty quickly as we climb through the 60s during the 8 o'clock hour into the mid 80s by noon, mid and upper 80s at 4. Tomorrow is going to be our hottest day, I think, through early next week. More sunshine, high around 90. Just a slim risk of a pop-up storm during the afternoon. Then as you see Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Memorial Day, upper 80s. Humidity comes up a little bit. Rain chances come up a little bit, putting them about 40%. Now, here's how this is going to work. Let's say Friday may have a little more coverage than Saturday, and then Sunday may have a little less coverage than Monday, or Monday may have a little less coverage than all of them. But there's not enough skill in the way the atmosphere is set up to determine how that's going to happen, because each day is going to be its own personality based off of where little boundaries are. Or let's say, do we hit 90 or the low 90s? Do we only hit the mid 80s? How much humidity is in the air? Things like that. That determines the coverage each day. And that's why you can't get wrapped up in how these computer apps, or your mobile apps, I should say, flip-flop rain chances each day, where you'll say, well, this morning I checked it and it said there was an 80% chance of rain on Friday. Well, now it's saying there's a 30% chance of rain on Friday, and Saturday's now at 70%, and Sunday's down to 30 where it was at 80, and Monday's up to 80 where it was at 30. Well, that's because the computer model is trying to figure out those little things. Where are those boundaries? Where's that moisture surge? Where's the little ripple in the atmosphere? And you just can't do that in this type of weather pattern because it's going to change constantly. So that's why you see a more realistic rain probability of about 40%. If you picture what we're headed toward for this Memorial Day weekend, think of it like what we see in summer, and you'll see that on the simulated radar. Now, it is a little bit different because there's a stalled boundary up across the upstate, but you'll notice these isolated storms form in the low country, and then as they migrate inland, they become more concentrated across the upper part of the state and in the Midlands. Well, that's closer to that boundary. And that's really where the atmosphere is going to wring out all the moisture, okay? That's what you got to think about it. And here in the low country, ours are going to be more driven by heat and humidity and scattered storms. And then as they move inland, they become a little more widespread. So that's why you have to take a step back when you're asking, okay, I've got all the family coming in. I got a house full of people. What am I going to do with them? You know what you're going to do with them? You're going to do with them what you do in July or August. You're going to go, well, yeah, the sun's out now, but it's probably going to rain this afternoon. That's the way to look at this, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that one morning there may not be storms in the morning. But what happens in the summer when we have storms in the morning? Typically, it leads to a beautiful day. All right, so don't get window bias. If you wake up on, let's say, Saturday or Sunday morning, you're like, it's raining. Well, that means the whole day's shot. Probably not. It's going to move on. Just keep that in mind, all right? And possible rainfall, this is that set of guidance I was telling you about that's kind of backing up the idea here. Blended guidance, high-resolution blended guidance, has trended down all week long. These rain totals are going down and down and down for the low country. In fact, you can see now blended guidance even has some spots along the coast with not a drop. Now you look up toward the upstate, well, there's reds and pinks. That's a couple inches of rain up there. But blended guidance has been trending drier for us. It's reinforcing the idea of scattered storms. We're not talking about widespread rain here at all. The highest rain chance is going to be north near that stalled front. And the bottom line here is do not cancel weekend plans for this. It is not necessary. We've seen this before, and I think what fires up this chatter is you see a post on social media that's got this big rainfall map that's plastered with numbers that say 2 to 3 inches of rain. Well, yeah, somewhere in there is going to be that, but the way it seems is that that's going to be here where we are. And I saw some of these posts last week into the weekend. I'm going, this is utter nonsense. It's not going to happen. Just like, think about it. 2 weeks ago, the social media clickbaiters were in the weather world. Were on this heat across the southeast. Well, yeah, we hit 90. Okay. We hit 90 in May. It was hot. All right. It was above normal, but it's not unheard of. You would read those and you'd think that we're talking about some July-like heat. And that's just not the case. I remember I mentioned that last week. I said this is going to be a fairly comfortable heat for us because the humidity was going to be a little bit lower, but that would change as we move toward Memorial Day weekend. And here we are. The humidity's up. The temperatures come down a little bit. Rain chance comes up a little bit. You just got to kind of take a look at this stuff and be a little realistic because it's just not happening. All right. But we will eventually get there. Some point here, as we get to the rainy season, those longer range guidance or that longer range guidance that shows rain moving in, it's going to hold. We're just not there yet. Okay. So that's the point I'm going to make. And I'm going to jump off my soapbox. I know y'all are probably tired of hearing me talk about how these weather apps are just so misleading and they need some context to them and they don't really give you context. And you know what? I guess that's what we're here for. So I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. If I don't see you before the weekend, have a great holiday weekend, but I'm hoping you'll be checking back with me as we refine that forecast, and I'll keep you updated if anything changes. Have a good one.